Hello and welcome to Law Firms Marketing Trends for 2026. What you need to do now while it's still 25. It is so great to see you. We are going to make this quick and efficient, and we will put it out on YouTube so you can go back if you don't get all of it today and watch it. But welcome to Law Firms. You guys, how is it already 2026? I do not understand how this has happened so quickly. And this year, I have owned an agency for 10 years, and I've been in marketing for much, much longer. And I've never seen more changes in a 1-year span than we saw in 2025. So I think this is a really important topic today. So let's jump into law firm marketing trends for 2026. So just a real quick overview. My name is Erin. I own Legal Growth Partners, and I have been in marketing forever, the digital space primarily. And I love legal marketing. I love everything about legal marketing. I think if you are good at legal marketing, you stand out so much because not a lot of people are good at legal marketing. So I am so excited to teach you this so you can be one of those that stand out. You can scan right here to follow me on LinkedIn. I'm always giving tips there, and follow our Legal Growth Partners, all of our social media, because we always give marketing tips there as well. All right, so why is 2026 is a turning point for law firm marketing? Let's just go through this and then we'll dive into each one of these topics. So first of all, AI, we're talking about it nonstop. Everybody's talking about it. I understand as attorneys, you hate AI, but we have to have the conversation. AI adoption accelerating faster than expected, all over, everywhere, from marketing to business to even schools. AI is being adopted way faster than anything we've ever seen. So we're going to kind of dive into that. Consumer behaving, it is shifting. The behavior that consumers are doing, it is shifting more than we've ever seen. So search, referrals, reviews, all of that is shifting. Increased competition among small and mid-sized firms. So now you can be a one-off lawyer, you can be a solo lawyer and compete with the big guys. And it is so exciting. But it is definitely not the same game we've always been playing. And marketing systems are not keeping up with the tech. So I will tell you, as someone that owns an agency, it's been a weird year because there's been a lot of people that have come and gone thinking they could do their own marketing and going, wait a minute, I'm not getting the results, because just the tech isn't enough. You still have to have the strategy. So the systems that have been in place for 20 years are trying to say, how do we implement the strategy with the tech? And then 2026 is the year that firms either modernize or they fall behind. We are going to see a lot of firms this year struggle, especially the ones that are so against the idea of any type of AI at all. We're going to see them struggle, but that means anytime we see someone struggle because they will not adapt, remember the Blockbusters of the world, that means that they're the Netflix. Those that will modernize, they have a full steam ahead. They have a lot of room to grow. So let's get into, first of all, AI-driven automated becomes the standard this year, okay? So how AI handles admin, intake, follow-up, research, assistance. I know that as attorneys, you were like, I am so against AI doing law. And there was even some AI is saying we're not going to give legal advice. That is great. And I'm a huge fan of that. But there is a place for AI where you can outpace your customers, or your competition, really, and how you can help your customers, right? There's some admin pieces. There's some pieces where you can build into your website some intake forms that'll go straight into your CRMs and qualify those clients, right? Also, you should always be having AI do a lot of your follow-up. Now, the way that we like to see follow-up done is a mixture of AI and the human touch. But, depending on how many leads you have coming in, there could be a lot of leads, and 80% of those leads do not turn into a client until they are followed up on. So we don't want to just lose those. So putting those in there, and then also research assistant and that kind of stuff. 2026 trend, firms are using AI for client experience, not just efficiencies. So the efficiencies are awesome, but what is your client experience? When they walk out of the office, do they get a thank you? Do we have AI? I have a lot of firms that'll take the AI and then that'll trigger for a handmade, like not handmade, let's not say that, but a gift that is like a bunch of different things to go straight to their house because they just won a case or something, right? Different AI and kind of some different parts of that journey, that client experience piece is becoming huge. I was just talking to a friend who works for a company that has done golden teas and bars forever, right? And so this man used to make $60,000-$70,000 a month just having golden teas and bars in Dallas, Texas. And now his competition is not, it used to only be the other like video games in the bar. That's no longer the competition for him. The competition is now the Andrade places, the Top Golf places. That experience of doing something, going out and doing something where golden tea used to be a fun thing to do 20 years ago. Now we've even taken that up another level. Now I want go-karts and all of the stuff inside make me feel like I'm on an actual like go-kart racing thing. Make me feel like I'm in an actual golf course at Top Golf, even if I'm a bad golfer. Like the client experience level has gone from here to up here. And how do you use AI to really dive in and make your client have a good experience? Because if they have a good experience with you, they'll be your client the next time, the next time, and then next time. Personalized drip sequences. This is a huge one, right? So you can do a lot of the stuff that you need to do through a drip sequence. So let's say a client's like, I need some information. I'm thinking about getting divorced. Putting them straight into a drip sequence of this is all the stuff you need to get taken care of at first. A few days later, this is where we're at now. A few days later, right? That's stuff you've always had to do manually that we can now put into a sequence. And if we pair that up with the client experience with some like advice of, hey, we know divorce isn't easy. Here's some resources that you can read. You could really, really start to dominate in that follow-up field. Using the intake forms to make sure we're not spending all of our time on people that aren't going to be our clients. Using very smart intake forms in this AI space that they go this way if they answer the questions one way and this way if they answer the questions the other way. And maybe these aren't our clients, but we could refer those to someone that they are and even start to grow our business that way. Automated conflict checks and qualifications. This should already be built in, but I'm always surprised at how many people don't have this built in. Figuring out how to do this without having to take up too much of our time. And what's new in 2026? AI that adapts messaging to practice areas and audiences. So add those AI-assisted intake and follow-up workflows. Implement automated review gathering, getting more reviews from those clients. We can use AI for drafting some of our stuff, like not necessarily our legal stuff, but maybe some of our newsletter stuff or some of our, social posts that we still want to do the authentic ones, but some of the overall ones using AI. What I like to do with the social is using AI to see what questions people are asking and then making actual social posts around those questions people are already out there asking. And then using AI for the data analysts to track that. Let's see what our ROI is on some of this different stuff. And then really using it to set those boundaries and those ethical guidelines inside our firm, right? Making sure that we understand this is where it is, having some different ways we can implement AI so that the whole firm's on the same page and you don't have to go ask a million questions. I see a lot of firms doing all of their their SOPs and stuff with AI. So when they're bringing on a lot of young talent, they can go look up the SOPs and AI will pull it right up. So there's a lot of good ways to use AI. I know as attorneys, we don't love it, but I do think we have to adapt to keep up. And I love the idea of really breaking it into our physical customer experience, which I still believe is marketing. All right. The next thing I want to talk about, voice search is exploding. This is a conversation no law firm is having yet that I've been around. So people are starting to, just like you and I probably do, I just say stuff to my phone or I say stuff to my Alexa, right? It's been a feature for a long time, but it is going up and up. As we go away from typing in Google what we want and we get used to typing into AI our questions, then we're like, well, why can I just ask my question like this? So voice search is becoming huge. So people are doing searches like lawyer now me, the lawyer near me. They're no longer saying that. They're saying things like, who is a lawyer near me, right? Is there a lawyer near me? Voice SEO is conversational. It's not just boom, boom, boom. Who's the best lawyer near me? Is there a lawyer in this part of the city? No longer lawyer in, right? So you got to make this more conversational. And that local SEO, so those directories, those maps, what I like to call the online yellow pages, if you're old like me, those are becoming more important than ever. Every single one of them should match. So there's something called the NAPU, name, address, phone number, URL. Every single one of those should match. And then you're going to start to see yourself gain on the on Google pages and on the search engine pages. Getting more reviews is going to help you with that too. But that local SEO is more important than any other type of SEO you can do right now. We are in a time and going into 2026 where clients want an answer fast and quick. They want to know who it is, what it is, how do I get a hold of them, how do I get this done? There is no room for grace anymore. There is dun, 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 dun. We're all moving a million miles an hour, right? And so we have to give them the information. So you now have to take your website, your social posts, your YouTube channel, all of the things, and you need to optimize it for conversational pieces and for the search results when it comes to the local pieces, right? We need to go back and redo everything we did the past 10 years so that both Google can find us, but now also all of the search results, which is the voice results, which is the AI results, can also find us because I sound like a normal person. Voice search is becoming a top source of leads. I mean, it is crazy. For PI, family law, criminal defense, and estate planning, those are the huge ones that we see really, really getting a lot of voice search questions. If you are in any of those, you really need to dive into how do I start to come on these voice search things, some of these voice search. So some of the things you could do now is create question-based content, FAQ pages, blogs, videos. Optimize your Google business profile and all of those directories. Answer the Q&A questions they're asking. That is huge. Make sure your descriptions are correct. Add conversational words to your website. So we used to write for Google. Now we're writing for both, right? So you should have a section for Google, but you should also be answering some of those conversational questions. Ensure that NAPU, name, address, phone number, URL, consistency across every single directory out there. There's over 750,000. There's about 20 you can find. Just go Google top 20 directories. I will tell you Facebook and Google are the two biggest. Apple's in there and Bing. Those are the top 4. If you get those 4 right, it's going to go to the other ones. But it needs to be as much as like if you're a suite 120, it has to be SUITE or STE, but it can't be both. You need to make sure it matches across, okay? Build location pages for top neighborhoods or suburbs. So we are back to where you need to have a page. I don't need to be able to see it. It can be hidden within your website. But every single city in your major city, every single suburb, you need to have a page for that. Your website should really be 50 to 70 pages if you're trying to hit up your whole city. And then make your website mobile first. It's got to load fast. If Google or AI sees it not load fast, they're not even going to pull it up. People want quick results. So make sure it loads fast on that. So that is everything you need to do for voice search and local SEO. Now we're going to talk, and I am so passionate about this one, the personalized client marketing experience. This is something that I think this takes us back to the 50s, but I think that this is more important than ever, okay? So first of all, clients experience tailored messaging and communication. There is a way to set up your AI that when this messaging goes out, it says, hey, Aaron, and I feel like it is to me. I feel like it is to me. Maybe it's part of a journey that everybody goes on, but because you've tailored it to me, it feels like me. Now, let's say I'm a family law attorney, right? I love the idea of having separate journeys based on what type of practice they have, right? So for me, I would say, this is what we do internally. Hey, Aaron, we are running up against these other family law. So now it's hit me twice, right? Tailored. So if you are the family law attorney, however, and you were talking to your clients, maybe there's a journey about child custody. Maybe there's one about divorce. Maybe there's one about grandparents' rights. You have all these different journeys and it feels more tailored. So clients, they want that tailored experience. The algorithms have gotten so well. You already know when you're on your phone, you're like, oh my God, that feels like that's talking to me. People are used to that. You need to figure out how to do that with your messaging and communication. Personalization improves trust and conversion. So it's people work with people they know, like, and trust. Trust is the big one that gets them across the finish line. So the more that they trust that you understand them or their situation, the more they're going to come on board. So make sure that you're working on that. Referrals driven by personalized follow-up. So anytime somebody gives you a referral, you really have to have a process for that personalized follow-up, right? And I like the follow-up of both the person that got referred and also the referral. There is a ton, and they're popping up every day, a ton of software out there that you can sign up for. So every time someone gives you a referral, you send them the link and you say, pick out a referral gift here. And it allows your referrals to start to see like the benefits of giving you the referral. And I know sometimes that can get tricky on what kind of referrals and what businesses and stuff like that. So if you can't do that, even a handwritten thank you card or something that says, I appreciate you. Don't forget, yes, follow up on the referral that was given to you, but always follow up. Stay in front of those people that are referring you so that you're always top of mind and also they understand how much you appreciate them. And then law firms are moving away from mass marketing to micro messaging. So custom email sequences, case type specific content, personalized video replies, pipeline scoring to determine hot versus cold leads. That's one of my favorite. It is very different messaging if someone's about to sign on the dotted line versus if we just had a discovery session, right? And making sure that we have all of the different types of messaging based on where someone is in their own journey, so it doesn't feel like a mass marketing thing. Have you ever gotten an email? This happens to me all of the time. Gotten an email that either says, Dear fill in name or first name, or it says something wrong. Since I spell my name Aaron, I always get Dear Mr. Aaron Fulk. And right away, you've broken all my trust. Right away, I'm not going to work with you. I don't care who you are. Yesterday, I got one ERIN. Again, I'm not even going to read this message. So really diving into those micro messagings is going to make you stand out so much. And I will tell you, it does not matter how large your firm is. If this is done correctly, it can feel like it's talking to every single person individually. So, okay, so just some ideas on this. Build segmented email sequences based on service types. Write personalized follow-ups for intake and consultations. Create client onboarding and offboarding sequences that feel very into me, right? Build referral partner nurturing workflows. Do not forget about those people that are handing you business for no reason. Make sure that they feel thought about, cared for, and thanked. And personalized newsletters with dynamic content. So you can write any newsletter software you use, whether it be a HubSpot, a Salesforce, a Constant Contact, a MailChimp, anything that's out there, a Lawmatics, you can make that, you can put in the forms that say first name here, law practice here, industry here, whatever, you can do that. Those are called dynamic content, and it'll fill it in and it'll feel like that message was for me, right? And as long as you have everything set up correctly, then those should fill in correctly. So, all right. So a lot of this personalized client experience marketing, you figure that out in 2026, you are going to soar. All right. This one's my favorite, and I'm probably going to get a little bit passionate because I love it. But video and social content drive trust. Remember what I said. People work with people that they know, they like, but more importantly, they trust. And the fastest way to get in front of anybody is the video. Video builds trust more than anything. So there is a thing that says you have to get in front of someone 80 times now for them to really want to work with you. Video will help you bypass a lot of those numbers, right? Because, oh, well, if I'm going to sit here and watch your video, I'm already a little into what you have to say. I'm starting to build trust. And it's the next best thing next to be in front of someone, all right? So it's the fastest way to build trust before someone ever even calls you. They feel like they know you. The algorithms prioritize real humans, not polished content. So you don't even need super fancy video. You know, I sit in this place because I do own a marketing agency where I think that depending on your pricing, your video should match that. So I don't want to feel like you're a robot, but it should be high level video if you're going to charge me a whole bunch of money. But if you're, you know, Susie homemaker that's selling your cakes, you film it in your kitchen, builds that trust because it feels the same experience I'm going to have. I want it to feel the same experience they're going to have with you in person, right? So if you're a person that only wears hoodies, I'm in a hoodie and tennis shoes to the office, don't go make video in a whole bunch of button-up suits if that's not the experience I'm going to have with you. This is how I get to know you, and I'm trying to build trust. So make it authentic, but make it who you really are. Don't overthink this. And be consistent. Be consistent. And you're not just being consistent for your clients, you're being consistent for your referrals, right? The more that you are on top of mind in front of everybody, the more business you're going to make. I test this a lot. Sometimes I'll go ghost for a couple months to test this. I'll come back. I'll make myself do a video a day. We will see our sales skyrocket when I do that because all of a sudden I'm top of mind. Now, I've got a lot of followers because I've been doing this hardcore for 10 years that I have a good test result. But I will tell you, once you start on that consistency, if you keep that up, you will see your results insane. They will be insane. 2026 thought leader videos outperform blog posts. So keep blogging because the search engines love it. But I would say if you have to choose on your time, videos. We call them thought leader videos. My company has soared the past few years by doing thought leader videos. Some people call them talking head videos, but just getting on video and proving how knowledgeable you are in your space and adding real value, right? A 1 minute video of something that I need to know that's just insanely amazing. That's what I need. Okay. So these thought leader videos are outperforming all blog posts. People love to be entertained or educated. So this is where we're leaning into that education. Now, if you have a big personality and it can be entertaining, you're going to win major, but you don't even have to be entertaining if you're giving the right education. Okay. And then authenticity versus production quality. Again, this needs to match where you're at. We just kind of chatted about that, but video is just insane right now. So thought leader video, 30, 60 seconds. FAQ, what's an easy way to come up with what I should be talking on videos? Get on to AI, say, what are the top 15 questions asked in my space? Answer those in each of your video. Do testimonial videos. If someone has a great experience with you, go, hey, can I record you saying that? People love that. Do behind the scenes of what you're doing that day. People love that. Do a day in the firm, like a culture. That's what we kind of call that culture content. Here's what I'm doing. It doesn't have to be super polished. I promise you. LinkedIn is where people are loving the thought leader videos and the authority videos. Make sure you're taking advantage of LinkedIn. LinkedIn and TikTok are kind of my two spaces right now that I'm loving seeing major results for attorneys. And then lean into that AI for the ideas of the FAQs. You know, you can say, how do I say this? And you can get a little bit of help there. But I know my attorneys don't love AI, but this is a place that we can lean into it a little bit, just a little bit, and get a little bit of help. So use it for your strategy. But I promise you, if you sit down and you're like, listen, I'm having a good day. I'm having a good hair day. I'm going to have a good makeup day. I've got 3 or 4 shirts. Sit down, and in an hour, you can record about 10 videos. If you use AI's help, just pull up the 10 questions, video, change shirt, video, change shirt, video, change shirt. Now you've got a month's worth of video right there at 3 videos a week, almost 2 to 3 videos a week. And you are going to be outperforming your competition by a ton. All right. Okay. And then multi-channel ROI tracking becomes non-negotiable in 2026. So what does that mean? Firms waste money because they cannot see what's working. So we need to start tracking what's working. 2026 standard unified dashboards that track ads, SEO, social, email, intake, reviews. You should have some sort of way to track this, right? So one of the interesting things is people say to me all the time, no, why should I do organic social media? Not paid social media, organic, I don't know. Oh, really, Susan? Because I see that 10% of your website traffic comes from organic social. So yes, we don't know. I mean, most people don't know if that organic social right away fills out a fill form. But remember, we've got to see 80%. We got to see you 80 times before we get to use you. At some point, I'm making the decision to leave the platform I was just scrolling on, to go look at your website. 10% of your traffic is doing that. That's huge. But I only know that if I'm tracking that. Ads are a non-negotiable when we want to be tracking any amount of money we're spending, right? But SEO should always be tracked. Where am I? If you have the right dashboard, then you can see where you are compared to your competitor. And then reviews, being able to go out every time you get a review and say, know what's out online. Every single person should have Google alerts set on their own name and on their business name. Okay? On their own name and on their business name. And I think that once you do that, then you'll be able to see what's being said out there with you, and then you'll be able to track that. You should know where every single one of your leads is coming from. You should know who your top referral partner is. Your top referral partner for the year should be one of the people that you spoiled the most every single year. Every single year at the end of the year, they should get a thank you box. They should get a I can't believe, like, they should know that they are appreciated, right? And where are the other leads coming from? Did you sign up for, I had a client on my other business this year. I have another agency. And for the past 3 years, they're a new client this year. For the past 3 years, they were sponsoring this huge conference. And they thought it was a good thing because it's a women's conference and they wanted to break into that space a little more. And I said, and they're spending like $30,000 for a lunch conference every year. And I said to them, okay, so how many are we targeting donors or patients? And they said, we're targeting donors. Okay, great. How many of the people from this have ever donated? They said, well, we don't know. I said, we weren't tracking that. So this year we were able to use, they had already paid for it by the time I found all this out. We were able to use a trackable, we used the vanity URL that people scan the QR code. And then it became trackable so that we could see how many of these people were actually going to their website and donating when they did the ask up front. They got a $2,500 donation. They got a $2,500 donation for probably what's about 90,000 because they've done it 3 years in a row and they don't know anyone else that's donated off the top of their head. That is not a good ROI, right? Where else could we take that $30,000? You got 2 minutes on stage. Maybe we take that same $30,000 and do 3 different big events with major donors, bring them in, give them a very good client experience, and I bet we triple that, right? But you don't know that if you're not tracking your ROI. You cannot go by feelings. Feelings do not make money in marketing. You've got to be able to track that. Attribution is essential for scaling. So you will never grow if you don't know. And then marketing dollars must be tied to signed clients, not traffic. So this is a funny one for me because I just told you the 10% of the organic traffic. So we know that people are there, but we should know based off that social media and our 10% because we put more in there. Did we get a raise also in clients, right? So you need to know where every single one of those people are coming. So usually the organic, you can watch the journey if you get into a good enough tracking system or dashboard system where you see that they came from social media, they landed on the homepage. Then where did they go? And then where did they go? The more you know about your data, the more you know about your analytics, the faster you're going to grow, right? So a couple of these things, make sure you have a CRM. Almost every time I meet with a firm, smaller firm under 10 attorneys, they don't have a CRM. Make sure you have a CRM. There is no way that all of your emails should be sitting just in your Google or your Outlook. Make sure you have a CRM. Connect software, connect your intake software with your marketing dashboard, okay? We need to track every lead source and those conversion rates. If we do not have a dashboard, we need to have one, have to. You should be looking at that reporting every single month, whether you're using an agency like mine or you're doing your own. You should look at some sort of reporting to see how it's going. And then you should measure those costs per leads, cost per signed client, and the lifetime value of a client, right? If you don't know the lifetime value of a client right now, then that I would say is not great business, right? If you can't tell me right now what your overall lifetime value of a client is, and I understand sometimes like in criminal, we don't have that client forever. But if we're a business attorney, we could have that client forever. I should still know in criminal, hey, every client is worth, I probably see them once, maybe twice ever in their life, but how many of them return? And am I getting the bigger cases, right? That's what we need to figure out. So putting it all together for 2026, here is a kind of a strategy I would do if I were you. I would start in January and February, figuring out that AI stuff, updating my website, social and video content calendars created. If you're not doing that, remember you need to be doing social in 2026. And go out and make sure your Google, your business, and your directories are fully optimized. In March and April, build personalized email sequences. Get into that FAQ library, launch those dashboards, and launch referral partner nurturing. Those referral partners, I can't stop talking about it. It's so important. And then May through June, review what's working. Adjust any of that content you need to do. See if there's any more AI automations we can build in. At that point, you should know because you've been having going about 6 months. And then scale your budget on what's working, right? If you're working with an agency like mine and you're like, hey, I love the LinkedIn stuff, go up. See if you can do more LinkedIn stuff. If it's working, double down on it. So this is kind of a good good little outline. Again, I told you I'm going to put this on YouTube. So either take a picture right now or go out on YouTube and check it out. And then the firms that win in 2026 won't just have the best lawyers. They will have the best systems for staying visible, consistent, and connected. All right. I'm going to have you put Q&A on the YouTube channel just because this software is acting a little bit funny today, or shoot me a message. You can do that over here on my, and I might have this on the last one, but we'll see. You can do that over here. We'll go through this real quick. Shoot me a Q&A right there on my LinkedIn. And then finally, because I would love to see you win. I should have saw what the last, I probably didn't need to go through there. And then make sure you follow Legal Growth Partners. We are every single day giving you ideas of stuff you can post. We're everywhere you can think of. You're going to see how quickly you can scale there. And then there's a marketing checklist you can go get. There's a 2026 guide you can go get on that website to help you walk through all of this stuff. But send us a message if you ever need any help. And I look forward to your questions. Thank you so much for coming. We are turning all of these next year into CLEs. So look for some of our CLEs. Join our newsletter online if you haven't seen that. So you have all of that messaging, and we will see you soon. Have a great rest of 2025. Bye.